I think we have a few more minutes. We have a few minutes before we begin. I think it's going to be recorded or at least streamed on our TV, so that's kind of neat. Anybody hunt here? Anybody a hunter? You used to be a hunter? Yeah, yeah. Somebody asked me, where my sister goes hunting. I said, Alaska. He goes, never mind, I'll ask her.
I'm headed there in April.
I thought you'd like that. So you're going in April.
Well, April, May, somewhere along in there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never been to Alaska. Anybody been to Alaska here?
Yeah.
Wow, it's got to be beautiful, I'm sure, right? Yeah, still pristine, still pure. So, they have bears.
The actual animals come to eat at your breakfast table.
I bet they do,
Okay.
and you make way for them, right?
You
see that on the news all the time.
That's right. Yeah. Who needs a zoo when you have Alaska, right? So, well, good morning, everybody. My name is Ted O'Brien. I'm the executive director. For those that don't know me, those that do know me know that I was here prior to returning, and I came in August, and we've been really, really busy. I can't believe how quickly time has flown. We've had so many different things happen in the community that have been positive, I believe. A lot of positive feedback from a lot of you, a lot of feedback from a lot of you, and suggestions and recommendations on how we can make your community better. I actually just met with Richard about a week and a half ago. I know Clarice is out, and she's recovering from an illness. And Richard stepped in, and we talked a little bit about maybe having more regular meetings with him and the board, which I hope I didn't throw you under the bus there, but I thought that was important for us to mention because I think it's a great idea. One of the things that I felt that was really, I think, instrumental in how we did things for you was that, we worked together and collaborated on some of the initiatives that we need to put forward. So communication is imperative, and I know that, it was kind of lacking a little before I got here, and there's been some misses that we've had on our part as well since I've been here. So I apologize for that if anybody has been misinformed or not informed on things that are happening in the community. But we've done a lot. I mean, I think, obviously, whenever we have that big changeover from the cooling system to the heating system, it is a bear for, I know you, trying to make your environment a comfortable space and your apartment's a comfortable space is very important to me. I wish there was a way I could control the weather. I certainly can't. But I think we're past that time where we had those fluctuations with it being having those warm days with the heating system on. So hopefully everybody's got a parka and you've pulled your long underwear out because I think winter is just here. So I think this morning the feels like temperature was 2 degrees. So it's nice to have a nice warm community, and hopefully your apartments are warm too. So we are right now, we had the whole building, just before the cold air came in, we had the whole building window washed again this year. And we weren't able to get the information out to you because it was kind of a long shot whether or not we could get it done. And we found out literally, the day before that they'd come out and do the windows. So I apologize for that. If anybody was exposed in an unflattering situation, we did not want to compromise you there, but did want your windows cleaned so you could see the beautiful views that we have out there, whether it be Lake Michigan or the city. So we're also doing some internal things as well. I think we've have some windows, internal windows, inside windows. We're working on trying to clean the atrium windows that are up high. So there is a lift right now that is out in the dining room, kind of tucked away. So you can see that, but that's going to take about a whole week to do. And they're doing that at night, so it's not to interrupt any of your dinner or breakfast or lunch service, so that we can get that done. Hopefully, that shouldn't be an annual thing that we do, but they just haven't been done in quite a while, and wanted to make sure we got them done before the end of the year. A lot of other things that we're focusing on. I know that it's been brought to my attention about the pool. We've had a lot of issues with the pool here of late. Unfortunately, there isn't just one issue that we're dealing with, it's multiple issues. We have a leaking issue in the pool right now, the drain line, and we're trying to assess that and get that figured out so that we can get it fixed permanently. And hopefully, it won't be an issue anymore so that we can keep the pool open and, as long as we possibly can. I was also informed if anybody uses the elevator, which we will get a memo out prior to us addressing that, but the garage elevator is going to have to be shut down for several days in order for us to make some repairs on it. It is operable right now. However, we do need to make sure that obviously it stays operable. So, the repairs that are going to need to be done are going to take several days. So we will make sure you're informed of that. If you do park in the garage, you won't be able to access the garage from the main floor. It will have to be from the second floor, and you'll have to gain access in the building to the second floor if you're driving. But again, we'll let you know. I'm just giving you a heads up on what's to come here. We've had some little bit of turnover in our leadership team as well. Some of you noticed that Jessica is no longer with us. It's one of those things that I think that we need to do in order to really facilitate what we want to do in that dining room. We're looking for someone that can really think out of the box, that can be a great coach to the staff that we have. Make sure that they hire comparable staff that will deliver the experiences that we really want to try to deliver to each and every one of you. So we're pretty selective on that candidate, but we are vetting candidates. We're actively interviewing candidates right now. Hopefully you're not having any kind of issues in the dining department at this time, but when it comes to service. But there's a lot of things that we really want to bump up there. It's just we need to have the right leadership in place in order to facilitate that. So I do appreciate your patience if there are, and just to let you know, we're not letting the dining room go without any oversight. So Christina and Avery, who you both know, I hope, are really stepping up with assisting that. Obviously Antonio, and then we've got our 4 supervisors down there as well that have really stepped up to help out to make sure things run smoothly. But there's a lot of things that we're wanting to do, and it's just going to take some time to do that. And first step is getting the right person in place. So I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. It was a nice time to really gather and get together with friends and family. It's a moment to take pause too, to really say, hey, what are the things that you're thankful for? And I'm thankful to have a very competent leadership team. I'm thankful to have wonderful residents that we can provide hopefully exceptional and great services to. We're going to continue to strive that. We're not always going to be perfect in that effort, but I just want you to know that we will make that effort, okay? And the communication goes both ways, so if there are issues, please let us know. The one thing I can absolutely tell you that is a guarantee is that I will respond with immediacy. Hopefully, with a resolution, if it is an issue that is an issue or is a resolution that is received well. So I'm not able to solve everything. As I mentioned, my first day back, I cannot solve the elevators. I know people are getting a little anxious when it comes to the elevator traffic, and all I can say is please be patient with each other, okay? I cannot control individual behaviors. I cannot control how people react, to certain situations, but please be patient and please, be respectful of each other. It is a community, and, everybody has good days and bad days, and we want to make sure that, if it's a bad day, you don't want to spread that, or if it's a good day and you're encountering someone with a bad day, try to make them have a better day. It's always better to end a day like that, or end an interaction that way. So That's it for me. TJ is not going to be up here today, so if you have any maintenance issues, please, I'm happy to field any questions there. He is in the process of changing filters out. We, hopefully at this particular point in time do have, some great solid team members there. I know that's been a concern to many residents about some turnover in our maintenance department. We have a new gentleman by the name of Joe, who is our maintenance supervisor. Hopefully, some of you may have had some interactions with Joe already, but he's a great guy, and we're looking for an additional staff member to complement and fill out that team. But again, being selective is key to make sure that the chemistry is there, and the person is certainly competent in the role that we hire that person to fill. So, Richard?
Yeah, Ted, we're going to need a insect repellent down in the dining room. There's lots of cockroaches showing up. I've had several people complain.
Yeah, so Richard did comment that there's a pest infestation that's we're seeing in the dining room, and you're absolutely right. So we've had a pest management company that is one that I'm not particularly fond of. Okay. I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the services that they provide, but seems like the doubt is starting to mount up more and more. So we have a couple of national contracted pest management companies that we use, and I've actually talked to Liz about this just last week about reaching out to them to have them come in, not just for our common space, but for the individual spaces as well, so that we can hopefully eradicate whatever issues that we're faced with. But also, please keep in mind, roaches spread by, having access to food. So, in your individual apartments, I ask you to please keep up with things, make sure that your rooms and your apartments are tidy. Don't leave, open items on your counter. Don't leave bread and things like that open so that, these little things can get to it. There's nothing more disgusting than having an infestation, particularly in your apartment. So, so if you could help out with that piece, that would definitely be beneficial. So, great question. Thank you, or great comment. Yes, sir.
I have a management question. Can you give us a better idea of what our relationship is to corporate? Because I find, I'm not going to mention any names publicly, but I have no problem telling you privately, that very often you go to a meeting and you raise something, and it gets thrown back as either you take care of it, or it's a corporate decision, I can't do anything about it.
Okay.
What latitude do you and your staff have
Yeah.
with regard to that?
Well, I mean, we have investors just like any. So the question is what is the relationship between you as community members and our management office, our corporation? It's a unique answer because members of the management company own this building. Okay. So not all of the buildings that we manage are owned by our management company. So, I think it's very good. I think it's very open and fluid. If there are, your statement or your question was, that of, I think, more transparency. If there are questions that are raised and the answers you're getting back is that it's a corporate decision, I would have to know exactly what questions those are, because one of the things that I stress to my leadership team is that they never use the word corporate. Okay. They never say corporate won't allow me to do that, because the word corporate alone, it signifies bureaucracy. Okay. So what I ask my team members to say is that if you're hitting a roadblock or a challenge with trying to facilitate something that we should be able to get done, there should be a name to that person. It's not person's name isn't corporate. So and I'm here to help facilitate that if we are. Now there are some things that we can do, some things that we cannot do. If somebody says, "Hey, Ted, we want to revamp, we want a complete overhaul of, and I'm going to say the word, the elevators. Well, that is completely out of my control. That is an investor decision, and I can propose that, and I have proposed that in the past, and that's a decision that rests on them. The answers that we get back, are pretty legitimate answers sometimes, so it's just a matter of, the transparency. If I guess we need to have more follow through if there are questions that aren't being
I'll
answered.
be specific privately at this point.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yes,
So Ted, along those lines, with respect to the pool,
yes,
what you're saying is that the investors on the building, which would be the pool, are they committed to keeping the pool open?
yes. We are committed to keeping the pool open.
And if it has to close, as it was being described the other night, for a number of months to do what's necessary, are provisions going to be made to take a bus to a pool so people
Yeah.
who use it can still access the pool?
Yeah, so the question was, if it's going to be closed for a number of months, will there be provisions made to have an alternative site for people to utilize the pool? First, to answer that, if we were in a position where it was to close for that kind of a period of time, we would make provisions, okay? But I have no information that was ever shared with me that it would be closed for that period of time. Some of the things that have come up were very unexpected things. First, one time it was a chemical issue in the pool, the pH balance, there is algae growing in the pool, there are issues there. That needed to be addressed. Then, once that was addressed and we finally figured that out, and we have a pool company that is helping us and coaching us and on standby to make sure that we're doing everything right, we found that there was a leak that caused, anybody going through the lobby or seeing the lobby, there's a large ladder there with tiles that are, open to the ceiling, and it's because we don't know where that leak is coming from. So there might be a time where we do have to drain the pool, but we don't want to drain it now, because if it's the drain line, then that's going to just leak into the lobby. It's going to flood the lobby, So there's some issues that we really need to isolate and determine what that cause is before we can determine what the next steps are. But I promise you, we'll keep you informed on whatever those next steps will be. Okay? All right. Yes, sir.
In reference to the dining room, I know that Antonio is the head of it, but are there any sub-supervisors?
Yeah, so the question was, do we have any sub-supervisors in the dining room? And we do. Antonio is the dining service director, as most of you know, and if you don't, he is. He's off today because he just did 8 days in a row, which included Thanksgiving and Sunday. But that said, we do have supervisors. We have some people that have been with us a very long time, and we just celebrated some of their tenure, with Vicky. We have Vicky Delamundo. She is a supervisor. We have Sean, who is a supervisor in the morning. We have Erlene, who is a supervisor, and we have Liz, who is a supervisor. So each one of those people have different roles, and we're asking them to kind of help out, with some of the pieces that might have been missed, or might be missed with the vacancy of the dining room manager right now. And we're also supplementing, that support with Christina and Avery to make sure that the operations continue to move forward. But yeah, we do have, and then there's also some of those people that don't have a title, that are those silent leaders, that are, those wonderful gifts that you get when you have a great team and you coach them and you appreciate what they do. Those are the people that really want to make sure things go well. And those are the people that we look at and look for as a potential leader down the road. So, but great question. So.
The reason I asked was, not counting any of the people you mentioned, I had a bit of a run-in with another one in the dining area. I don't think you want me to mention the name right now.
Yeah, if you ever have a poor interaction with someone and it can't be resolved, and we certainly don't want it to be a argument, or argumentative situation with you or anyone else, let us know, okay? That's what we have Christine as a director of hospitality. We have a manager on duty on the weekends, to help, whether it can be resolved or not at that time, it'll be brought to my attention so that I'm aware of it. And maybe it does require that we coach that individual more, or maybe that individual was just blatantly wrong and, needed to be counseled in some way. But, whatever the situation is, we want your environment to be one of a welcome, safe atmosphere where you feel, you're getting, great service and hopefully exceeding your expectations that relates to service. So, all right, great question. Yes, sir.
For those of us who are relative newcomers or relative newcomers, I think it would help if supervisory people have some kind of distinctive badge, code, or banner, or ribbon, or something.
Okay. So your comment is that for the new people, it'd be great to have some kind of a distinctive badge for the leaders of the community, or
No, you're calling supervisors.
supervisors in the dining room.
Well, we
Or-
can start with that.
Okay. Well, we all have name tags.
Yeah, but
So,
you mentioned names that after several months, I think I now know.
okay.
But people who are just arriving can't really tell one person from another.
Yeah, well, we do have and that's a great idea. I'm not dismissing your suggestion by any means, but we do have a orientation, and, when we go to that I know, has anybody been through the orientation? Yeah, so it's like drinking so much information. It's like drinking water from a fire hydrant. So, I mean, you're not going to be able to take it all in, right? But there are references in there, and one of the items in there is, leadership, and there are pictures there with the title and a little, but, if there are other ways, I'd be welcome to the suggestions, and, if, whether it be, I don't know, I mean, we could probably figure something out, but, great idea.
And just to follow up on that idea, so Sean,
Yeah.
who we talk to and see every day in the morning, I had no idea he was a supervisor. He should be,
Yeah,
because he's phenomenal,
Yeah.
but he's not identified in that way. And I think
yeah,
that what Greg is saying is it would be useful to just on the name tag,
Yeah.
have that identification, because people don't necessarily know the people that you were naming. I don't know who Liz is, for example. And so that if there's an issue, you know who to go to.
yeah,
So we're
and,
not talking, he's not talking about the management team, he's
Okay.
talking about the
The-
second supervisory level.
Okay.
To be identified.
yeah, and I think that's a great idea.
What was the idea?
So the idea is particularly like in the second layer of leadership, not our, director leadership, but the second layer of leadership, to have some unique identification of, who they are, not just, their name, but what their role is. And I think it definitely is something that we should do in our dining room. I mean, I mentioned Joe, and our maintenance supervisor. So, if we can have some kind of a unique identification for that. We do have management company standards as to what we do for our badges, but I'm sure we can come up with something. They do give us some degree of autonomy, at our management company, so I think we can come up with something. With great suggestions, yes?
Maybe you could just have the badges of anybody that's a supervisor or above a different color.
We could. I think, the comment is maybe we could have a different color, or maybe we can have an additional badge, with a different color. But there's definitely some options, and we will look at that and, try to implement something, so, okay? Yes. Yes.
You mentioned TJ and Joe in various areas.
Yeah.
What are the differences in their positions?
The difference, so you mentioned TJ and Joe in their different areas in the maintenance department. The difference in the positions is that there always has to be a hierarchical structure in order for an organization to, say, okay, you're at the top, you're the one to blame, right? So, no, I'm kidding. But, the difference between Joe and TJ is that Joe reports to TJ, okay? TJ oversees not just maintenance, but he also is accountable for the housekeeping department as well. So he has all plant operations, meaning the mechanicals, the cleanliness of the community. That is all under his umbrella for TJ. Joe is a maintenance supervisor, which means that, you know, he can help facilitate and direct some of our maintenance team members to make sure that they're on track with things, and if they need to reprioritize some of their tasks during the day because of unexpected things that come up, Joe can help direct that to make sure that things don't go unfinished as well. So, yes.
Thank you always for your patience and the ways you respond.
Oh, thank you.
I've mentioned this before, and you kindly said that you would address it as you could. The morning breakfast staff is tired. I've been here 3 years. I love these people. They're wonderful, but they look tired. They have an additional 100 or 200 people that they're serving in the morning in the lines. If there was a way you could bring in even some, whatever, for a couple of hours, it would be a gift to them, and we love them.
Yeah, thank you. And you're right. I mean, you know, there's a lot of things in the dining.
What was the comment?
I'm so sorry. The comment was, it was a lot of thank you. You know, and it was about recognizing the staff in the dining room in the morning, that, you know, some of them seem worn out and tired, and that's the last thing we ever want to do, is to burn out our team members, right? So we want to make sure that we provide the support necessary for them to be efficient and great at what they do, and they feel good at the end of their shift, so that so good that they want to come back, right? I mean, that's our goal. But you know, it's part of that is getting the right dining room manager in place. That goes back to what I said earlier. Is, you know, the leadership is instrumental in facilitating, you know, all of those things, right? Making sure that, you know, the team does have the support they need, that they can make sure that they're removing any roadblocks or challenges from their way, so that they can be successful and they feel valued every day. So those are the things, and a lot of that comes from you too. You know, if you have a great experience, you know, the greatest thing anybody can ever receive is a compliment, you know, for something that they did, and that goes a long way, more than any dollar you could ever give someone. That interaction is received so incredibly well. So, right over here.
One thing related to the dining room in the morning, I believe it was raised at the last month's meeting, was that hopefully we were getting to the number of residents where we could hire additional staff in the morning.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that happening?
So the question was, you know, are we at a point to where we can hire additional staff with our increase in the number of people in the community today? Great thing is that it's the end of the year, and we're planning budgets for next year. Okay, you know, it is, you know, some of the things that we have in our budget this year don't match up. So I've already made those adjustments when it comes to staffing. There's a lot of things to dissect in the dining room, okay, for me to really understand whether or not we need to have additional staff. Do they have the right tools, number one, okay? Do we schedule people appropriately, number two? And are we efficient on how we run things, number three? So those questions are still questions that I have not gotten answers to yet. And I won't fully be able to have the answers. I can tell you right now that the scheduling that we had was an atrocity. It was awful, okay? We had, you know, a schedule that we were literally flying on the seat of our pants, okay? And, you know, Avery has made a great effort in really restructuring that schedule so that, you know, we make sure that we do have people that are, number one, that know that they're scheduled to come to work the next day. Okay, it's nothing worse than, you know, anticipating having a staff or a department full of people to run an operation, only to find out that you didn't schedule them. You know, that's a bad management practice. So there's a lot of things that we need to dissect first before we can say, hey, let's add additional people. There's nothing worse than adding additional people and then creating efficiencies and then having to let those people go because you don't need them. So, but, with that said, if we are having service issues in the morning, or service issues in the afternoon, or service issues in the evening, those are things that, again, need to be brought to my attention, or Christina's or Avery's, as they're punting or pitch hitting right now, so.
Yeah, just a comment that may be helpful is that in the buildings I've owned or managed, that we would try to keep a life record, if you will, of various parts of various appliances, things to keep things running. So we had if a part goes out in 6 months or a year and a half or something, we could anticipate that and perhaps catch it before and do that maintenance in a little easier manner.
Yeah.
Rather than 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I think, and that's a great comment, so just so everyone knows, so the comment was, we should have some kind of a maintenance record based on life expectancy as it relates to equipment and things like that. And to answer that is we do. Okay, we have a very sophisticated system that we document everything from our oven to our vacuum cleaners to our chillers. And and it's a system that allows us to really focus on preventative maintenance, okay? And it's a system that allows us to make sure that, if we need to change the oil in something, that it's being scheduled and we know that that task is coming up so that, obviously it doesn't run out of oil, right? So that system we use is called TELS, which is a pretty common system in our industry. It's a proprietary system owned by one of our vendors that we are aligned with, and and it's served us well. I think as we add more and more equipment, obviously the list gets longer, and the items and tasks of preventive maintenance get longer, which help us determine how many people we need, to help maintain those types of systems. So, but great question. So, yes.
2 things. I would hope that you would be considering adding to the maintenance department. 1. Number 2, put into your system the garden water turn off.
Yeah.
Because that was missed, and I'm thinking, don't they have a tickle file or something
Yeah.
that says you turn it off, you empty the hoses?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, two comments. One was, I hope that we would add to our maintenance staff. To answer that, yes,
good.
we will. The other question was, could we put the garden hose shutoffs on our preventive maintenance workflow? And yes, it is now. So, it wasn't before. I think just because, again, we have had tenured team members here that have been here for years. You just kind of just knew that it needed to be done. But the best operation, I can tell you, the best operation that you could ever walk into is one that you're not needed to be there. Meaning that, in the military, we had this great thing called an SOP. Anybody in the military? All right, you know what an SOP was, right? That's right. So given a standing operating procedure, it would allow me, who has no mechanical sense whatsoever, to walk into TJ's office and do his job, right? Because I have the procedure and how to do it. So, we are working on cross-training a lot of people here, but we're also looking at all of those pieces. So, but thank you. So, yes, sir.
Speaking of compliments, I'm extremely pleased with the people who come on a Friday morning as the best people into the apartments.
Okay.
It could be that there's a difference between who they are and what they do in the apartments versus the people who do the dining room, or they have a different project or whatever. Maybe those should be thought of separate.
Yeah, and that's a great question, or great comment. I mean, thank you for sharing that. Being pleased with the pest management services as they relates to individual apartments, and that's great to hear. We are looking at that, but for us as a client, soliciting a vendor, we want someone that can do it all. It's really important, and maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe someone might be better at dining room pest management versus individual apartment pest management. And maybe we do need two, but we're really vetting that out to try to find the right partner. I'd rather be able to call one vendor to say, hey, we've got an issue with this apartment and the dining room if we have it, and they come the same day to do it, instead of calling two vendors at one time, try to get them, coordinating them to get here. So, yeah, Rhoda?
Piggybacking off of what he said, it is table number 55 that's infested with bugs.
Okay.
We had them visit us, they weren't cockroaches.
Okay.
I know how to identify cockroaches, so what is it? Just,
Yeah.
they were there in the morning for breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were there for lunch, but then they were there for dinner.
Okay.
It's disgusting.
I agree. It is disgusting, and we will get it addressed. I'm sorry you experienced that. So, yes.
I want to continue the compliment on the current pest management system, because when they came to mind, first of all, they believe that there's snails. And I was having trouble saying there's a tiny little thing that in my factory garbage. And they got rid of them. I haven't
That's great.
since then, so, and the way they explained it. But I think they are really good for housing, really good for apartments. But the need all of the building is going to be hard to catch. I think that there's also transferring and dining room. So it could be the different problems.
Yeah.
This company was really good at certain things.
Well, I appreciate that. Again,
In other words, give them a good,
we definitely will let them know. I mean, and listen, we don't beat up our vendors in a way where, if they don't do something great, we just, shut the door on them. It's a partnership, and our values are one where we believe in teamwork, respect, and appreciation. And that's just not within our own core group of people. It's with the people we work with, the vendors, and so on. So way back, yep. It was a compliment on the current pest management company and how well they do in individual apartments. So, yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. Are there any other questions? Because I know that we've got other leaders that want to talk. And
So moved.
yes, ma'am. Do we have a lower limit on the age? Oh, yeah. I mean, teenagers would love it here. And I know I've got a 20-year-old in college. She just, this would be gangbusters for her. No, but we do have an age restriction. It's 62? 62 years old. Yeah, 62 years young.
Do you mean about moving in or?
Moving in. That's the low.
But she's talking about employees.
Employees. We can hire teenage people, okay, and we have, but there are restrictions with the Department of Labor on how many hours they can work. So we have, and there's a lot of times, like during the summertime, we have an influx of young teenagers that are looking for summer jobs, and maybe some of you have been here during the summer, you experienced that. And it's great. It's a great opportunity for young people to really experience what work is like. So great question, and we will. If you have people that are looking, let us know. Avery Ash, okay. Avery Ash is our human resource director, so feel free to let her know. And if you can't get in touch with her, let me know. All right, I'm always recruiting. So. Everybody, I appreciate your time today. I'm going to pass this on to our next leader, and I know I talked a lot, but you had some really great questions. It's great to see this group, growing for the community meetings. This is your community, and it's always a pleasure to be your executive director, and hopefully we can continue to deliver great service. So thanks.
Hello, I'm Avery Ash, who Ted was just talking about, Human Resources Manager. And lately, most of my day has been spent on recruiting. As Ted mentioned, we are taking our time to find the right person for our dining services manager role. We've been lucky to have a large pool of people applying. And it is taking time to go through each one, to go through phone screens, and then to bring them in for panel interviews with all the different departments on our team. And so we haven't found the right person just yet. I just talked to a couple of people yesterday and today that seem promising, and so we're hoping to get that position filled as soon as possible. I am also working to hire more support in all of the departments. As Ted mentioned, we're looking to expand the maintenance department, and we're looking to find more support with the servers, housekeeping, and concierge as well, just to make sure that we can cover any gaps. As you know, this season is a sick season, and so we do unfortunately have a number of people that are unwell, unable to come into work, and so we're trying to make sure that we have some more people that we can fill in when those people cannot come. And also, as Ted mentioned, I've been helping a lot with the dining services team and the servers, Christina and also Donna as well. We've all been divvying up the job, and and then also coaching and training our supervisors so that they can also feel more confident in their jobs and be able to support you all and support the other servers. For fun stuff, we're also planning our holiday party for the team members. We're very excited to celebrate them and thank them for all of their hard work this year. And I tell people all the time during my phone screens as I'm interviewing people, I love to brag about the residents and how this is such a welcoming and appreciative environment, and and that does go a long way, especially hiring a dining services manager. These people work in restaurants, they work late nights, they work with drunk people. They sometimes see the worst in humanity, and so I advertise, I say the breakers, they're really nice here. And thank you all for allowing me to tell that truth. With the holidays coming up, a memo did go out, but I do want to remind everybody that our team members are not allowed to accept any tips or gifts. And I know that you're all so generous and want to show your appreciation. The only way that our team members are able to accept a gift is through our resident-run holiday fund. We have a great committee of residents that are in charge of that fund and in making sure that our team members are appreciated. So please make any donations to that fund. They collect checks at the front desk for them. And again, please do not bring any gifts to our team members. Any questions? Yeah?
Yeah, it's true, but when you hire them, especially the high school kids or the college kids, are they expected to work every other weekend? I mean, because they should be if they're not. I mean, just that way we get staff, and when they come in, they know that's what's expected of them. Yes, I'm a retired nurse, we work every other weekend. Sometimes it's fun, actually, you don't get to go to some family things. But the point is that high school kids, they can work every other weekend. And it should be.
Yeah, so she was asking if the students that we hire, if they're being expected to work every other weekend. And at this time, I am only hiring people that will work every weekend because of that. And that doesn't mean that they have to work every single weekend. Our team members are able to request time off, if they give us a go-ahead, but we do require at least 2 of the 3 between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that have to work on the weekend. So, yes, thank you. Did you have a second question, or? All right, we'll come back to you. Any other questions? Yes?
I wonder if you're still doing the Heart of the Breakers Award for employees, because there wasn't one in the third quarter.
Yes, she was asking about the Heart of Caring Award. We did honor Linda Jarvis a few weeks ago. She is an overnight concierge team member, and we tried to do it during breakfast to try to get more residents to be there. Unfortunately, because of her schedule, it's hard to surprise her. You know, we had to convince her to stay a little bit late. She thought she was in trouble. But instead we threw her a party. And so yes, we do that every quarter. I do still collect the nominations in the mailroom and at the front desk and also directly. Please continue to shout out the people that are just doing the best so that we can make sure we honor them.
Just related to that, Avery, in the mailroom, there's a thing about the Heart of Caring, but the picture that's up there is from when Daniel got it. There's nothing on Linda. So that's part of why I think we were confused.
Yes, I understand that. The keys to that box have been misplaced. And we have been.
I'm really laughing because I totally understand.
Yes, so yes, she was mentioning that the employee box in the mailroom has the wrong picture. It also has the names of people that no longer work here under new team members. I have lost the keys. And TJ and his team are working so hard that I don't want to ask them to make me new keys. And so that that is why. But hopefully soon we can get that fixed.
Steve has a question.
Yes. Hi, Steve.
To whom do you write a check for the holiday fund?
He wants to know who to write the check for the holiday
Just
fund.
write it to Holiday Fund.
Okay, and the answer for holiday fund checks, you write it to the holiday
Or
fund.
just Holiday Fund.
Or just holiday fund.
Not Breakers Holiday Fund or anything?
That's correct.
Yep, just holiday fund.
And take it to the front desk and put it in that little lockbox there.
Yes?
By December 8th.
December 8th is the last day to turn in a check for the holiday fund. Yes?
I have a comment.
Mhm.
You can do it by automatic deduction from your bank account. Felicity Skidmore is the person I talked to arrange that.
Okay, and she's commenting that another alternative to donating to the holiday fund is through an automatic direct deposit. Felicity Skidmore is the resident that is in charge of that. So you can reach out to Felicity to arrange that. Any other questions or comments? Great, thank you all so much. Do you want to say? Never? Okay, great, thank you.
Who's next?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Donna Pennycamp. I am the business office manager. Just to clarify that last question about the automatic payment, if that was directed as a direct deposit from your statement, just be aware that we're two separate entities. We are the breakers, and the business office accepts money and makes deductions for charges that are relative to the services that the breakers provides. The holiday fund is a resident-run committee within the breakers, and that is a separate entity with a separate fund, a separate committee that runs that organization. So the two are not connected, so we cannot make any withdrawals from your direct deposit with respect to the holiday fund. So I hope that answers the question. Let's see, not much has changed since the last meeting with respect to the business office or the front desk concierge staff. So if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer any, but I don't have any real earth-shattering new news to share with you. Except have a wonderful holiday. That's all. Thanks.
That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Milton, the Director of Sales and Marketing for the Breakers. Let's see, I'll talk about the big months again. September, as you know, we welcomed 20 apartments were rented, 20 new apartments. And October, 22 apartments were taken. And in November, we will have 6. And in December, of course, I'm guessing, because people will probably pop up for different reasons and want to move as the weather gets colder, and maybe they'll sell their houses while they live here or their condo. So, I'm going to guess 8 maybe in December. I want to say that it is my opinion and my experienced opinion, since I've done this same job here for so many years, a little over 11, because people keep asking me, what do you think what is this attributed to? And I'm not kidding, or I'm not trying to sell you when I say that part of it is you. It really is. There's a lot of really positive energy here. I really feel that. It's a great combination of people. The way you've all melded and met each other and found ways to enjoy each other's company is very, very evident as we walk around with people who I know are looking for that kind of energy and that kind of friendliness. And it's an anxiety-provoking, as we all know, move to make. Well, moves are such anyway, but to come to a community like this that you've never lived in, maybe since you were in college in a dorm, or if you want to liken it a little tiny bit to that, is very hard to do. So to meet so many friendly people and welcoming, I know makes a big difference. I also want to touch on the marketing piece. Well, I actually want to stay with that a little bit, because one of the things I noticed we did this year is we really have moved in friends of friends or acquaintance of friends or former co-workers have moved in of residents. So I want to put a bee in your bonnet for next year. If you are currently or have been in the past a part of a defined group that you think might be a great, great way to demonstrate the community to others, I very much want to dedicate my marketing dollars to having that type of group over in a group format, and I'll leave it that way, whether we do whatever that might mean, lunch or a meeting or something. But just think about that. I would love to share what we do here with any group of your friends or acquaintances. Then, on the subject of marketing, we did post, or Molly was wonderful to post, the 50-second ad spots that we had running on WGN. They are on Channel 2, and we will be advertising again starting in January on WGN. We're going to do some editing of the spots, as they call them. There'll be 15-second spots, and they'll be on at all kinds of different times of the day. Maybe I can share, so if anybody specifically wants to see themselves on WGN in 2024, that might be in that. So that is it for me. Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
The topic that came up yesterday's residents meeting was some people are here who unfortunately really shouldn't be here.
And why should they not be here?
Because they need much more advanced care. But somehow, I guess they like the price or something. What kind of guidance is it possible to give your counselors to gently say no?
Well, our counselors are actually boldly told not to do that, because we cannot discriminate. We have had over the years people test that, quite frankly. Whether it be government agencies or otherwise, people who are sent to test that. So we cannot discriminate.
Based on what? I couldn't hear what.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was suggesting that the sales counselors, or that we vet who might move in here based on whether we deem that they can move here or not. So we are very careful to say, if it makes you feel better, whether we're talking on the phone or some people come in person, we give them a real experience, getting in and out of doors, going to the dining room to eat, because we're modeled on eating in the dining room, what are some of the other things that, you know, we're not doctors. We cannot do physical assessments of people, nor should we, but we like to have them get the full knowledge of the community so that they're making a decision. And we often say, would you be comfortable here? Would you be comfortable doing this, ... Yeah.
I think there's been some concern about whether you're truly marketing it as independent living, because I haven't seen it myself, but there's talk of being on the website as assisted living. And I know
Well,
that
we can't. Assisted living, you have to have a license. And we do not have a license with the state or the Department of Health to advertise ourselves as assisted living.
question, is it somewhere on a website? Is that what?
I'll look again. I have to edit the website periodically for other things as well. So I'd be happy to look at that, but that's a legal term mostly, assisted living. So it would be rare to see it there, but I'm going to look. Lori.
So with respect to the ADA and that there's a difference between independent living and assisted living, with respect to people who are moving in, is every individual moving in, not the family members, but is every individual moving in part of an actual conversation with the sales team?
Mostly. I don't know. There have been occasions for sure over the years where, well, we usually go to see them. If, for instance, somebody's coming out of rehab. Well, you know, right now, I'm not sure, you know, you all must have your own definition, but because one uses a durable medical device does not mean they need to live in assisted living.
About durable medical devices.
Yeah.
The issue is much more about cognitive abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and lately there have been some sad moments
Yeah.
that I've observed where people don't know, are they going up or down the elevator? They
Right.
don't know whether they've had breakfast or not.
Yeah.
They're embarrassed.
Well, I can tell you not so much about, those people might have lived here for quite a while too. So I'm going to say two things. First of all, you know, if you have a concern, you can meet with, am I fair to say, Christina? Christina will probably go next because we keep having good segues here, don't we? So you can always meet with Christina because, again, kind of like bringing up about the maintenance hiring. There are all these things going on, and maybe that's what Rich was saying about more conversations with all of us so that you wouldn't be thinking in a vacuum. But Christina is dealing and working with families all the time where some of you have shared concerns and concern reports. And so we don't not care about things like that. And Christina is constantly working with families and with all the resources that are available to the residents here. As I always say, somebody might need just help with compression socks. And if they need a caregiver for that, they shouldn't have to live in assisted living for that. So I know that's not what you're talking about, Lori. I know that's not what you're talking about. I'm just saying there are many situations and a lot more going on here because we care about the safety. At the end of the day, if you all remember the wording in the lease, it's pretty strong. It's in 3 different areas that you all initialed, understanding that people who live here, the way it is written there, is you are responsible for taking care of your own health care needs. There's no one here that's going to do that, I know. But we do care about ultimately the safety of our residents.
And Kristen, I know that.
Yeah.
And I know that Christina, that if somebody's been living here for a period of time.
Right.
And needs adjustments because of what's happening to them.
Yeah.
That you guys have a process that you put in place in a very caring way.
Right.
I think that what came up the other night and has to do with new people moving in and ensuring that there's space time between management and the actual new resident as opposed to their family member.
Yes, and there is. Remember, we have to sign a lease with the person at the very end of the day. So all of that has been covered before that moment comes. So we're not moving in people over the phone. Most people, we have with them or their family at least 3 personal interactions, at least, and sometimes 7. I've had 9 with some families. So that's not happening. And if you have individual cases, then we should talk, because this is not in fact, quite frankly, in the 11 years I've been here, I have, in the course of these 3 months, with an average, I gave you the breakdown, but the average is 14 per month, if you did that math. I've never seen, I'm quite invigorated about how I'm trying to think of the appropriate word here, how active or how independent, if we want to stick with that word, the population has become. Very different for me from even 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago. So I think the trend is quite the opposite. There are probably some outliers. I will also tell you that people some people who have been living at a home in their condominium, once they're here and re-engaging in conversation and playing Scrabble again, are incredibly improved, whether it just be lack of engagement and isolation. But I will also tell you that there are people who aren't as successful here, and that's why you don't see them here for very long, because they don't bounce back, even with a lot of one-on-one caregiving, if that's what their family suggests. So I think it's a very positive trend. And I say that again, as I started this with experience. But if you do have a concern about someone, I'm sure Christina will follow this up and say the same thing. She would like to know. If you're experiencing somebody riding the elevator with you all day, that would be a good example of something that, for their own safety and comfort, you should probably let Christina know. But no, we don't move in people that we just have never seen and stay behind a curtain until the day they show up. Okay, thanks.
Hello, I'm Christina Elcher, the Director of Hospitality and Resident Services. I'm going to start off right away with resident concerns. If you do have a resident concern, there are forms that are available in the mailroom, right by that little table when you turn the corner to the left. I always tell staff when I do new staff orientation, you don't have to fill it out on a resident concern form. You can send me an email. You can put it on any piece of paper. Give me the best description that you know how, and I will meet with the resident and or family. I do not share names. You do not have to put your name on there if you don't want to. If you choose to, I don't share your name, apartment number, or let anyone know how I found out the information or where I got the information. If you're not sure who the resident is, if you can put your name on there just so that I can gather some more information, or give me their table number at dinner or some kind of identifier so that I can give them the most help that I can. I have lots of resources in and around the city, and as well as what's here within our building. So I'm happy to help people. It doesn't always mean that I'm going to assist that person with exiting the building. I do want residents to stay for as long as they can be successfully independent here. So with that said, I'll start off with the RSV vaccine. There is a component to the vaccine that some individuals who have other underlying health concerns need to contact their physician first before receiving the RSV vaccine. So I'm gathering some more information, and I will be sending something out as soon as I get that information from the clinic. The COVID booster is scheduled for November 30th. Vaccines will only be administered to those who have completed the forms and turned those into me. So if you have not turned in the form and you didn't get a schedule last night on your door, I don't have you scheduled for a vaccine. If you are certain that you filled out a form and turned everything in and you did not get a schedule, please reach out to me so that I can check to make sure that I have all your documentation. The federal government is again sending out free test kits. If you have not ordered a test kit in 2023, you are eligible to order test kits again. The information is now available on Channel 2, and I will also send it out in a memo form tonight. So people have been asking me for test kits. I don't have an unlimited supply. I got a few from individuals as they moved out or people who didn't want to keep them in their apartment, but I'm running out. We don't have them as unlimited, so please order your test kits if you think that you might need them. Hansa Medical Group is here in our building. They started seeing residents as of November 14th. We continue to build that partnership. If you are interested in signing up with Hansa Medical, they can be your primary or your backup for your primary. They are working together to focus on your health and wellness right here at the Breakers through the winter, as it's really cold outside today. If you didn't feel well, you wouldn't need to leave. We could schedule an appointment with them. They will be available for emergencies 24/7. If you're interested in signing up, please let me know and I can get you that information. This is just a friendly reminder. Someone asked me to say to pass on that we had a fire across the street. So just as a reminder, there's no open flames in your apartment. That's candles, incense burners, those kinds of things, just as a reminder.
Yeah, that was this morning, right? That's what you're talking about?
No, that was over it was on Thanksgiving, I
Right.
think.
This morning I woke up and there were I woke up, there were fire trucks, and they were coming out of the back building, and my apartment had smoke.
Oh goodness, apparently there was another fire in the near vicinity. So just as a reminder, no open flames, that kind of stuff. Does anyone have any questions?
Does Hansa Medical Group take Medicare?
Yes, they do. Yeah. I'll get you the paperwork.
Yes. Yeah, this morning I got the order for the tests, for the ones but I never got any response as far as, and I've turned in twice. Insurance and ID and all that stuff. I've turned that in twice and I haven't gotten any schedule.
On the other side of
for the
that,
shot.
it should be, on the other side is the schedule. One side of that form is the schedule, and the other side should be the
one I got had one
Two separate
side.
sheets.
Maybe it's two separate sheets?
Two separate sheets.
Okay.
Came this morning.
Okay.
Well, mine was
So I
double-sided.
should be on your list.
I'll check, Lynn. Anything else? All right. Last but not least, Molly.
Save the best for last. For the most fun.
Hello, everyone. My name is Molly Rodriguez. I'm the Director of Resident Programming. So, a lot to get through. Our trips in December, we are going to the Disney 100 exhibition on the 6th, and then on the 13th, we are doing 2 trips. One bus with Tilia during the day going to the Walnut Room. In the evening with Jim, we are going to Zoo Lights. With that Zoo Lights trip, there is no chaperone. It's just Jim and the residents there. So again, for some of these trips, we always put it on the sheet saying, this is a very independent trip. Like, we're going to see Avery, our HR manager's concert in a couple weeks. That just means if there's no chaperone, there's no Shantae, just sign up if you think, you're comfortable walking around the zoo at night by yourself and with other residents. Then on the 20th, we are seeing Betty Boop the musical, and on the 27th, we're going to the Elmhurst Art Museum. Some things coming up, we have our Arts and Crafts Fair for the holiday season this coming Monday, December 4th in the suburbs. December 5th, next Tuesday evening, we have the holiday open mic night. If you'd like to be in either of those, sign up in the back of the showroom. The sign-ups are out there. On Monday, December 18th, we have Barb's Boutique coming back, bringing all of her wonderful gifts and clothing, sweaters, things that you can purchase down on the 2nd floor. we are going to be having our community memorial service for this last quarter on Thursday the 21st at 1 p.m. right here in the showroom. We have so many concerts coming up. We have the Maxwell Street Klezmer Band on Thursday the 7th in the evening. On Sunday the 10th at 1:30, we have the Ebenezer Church Carolers coming out. On the 14th, not music but dance, we have Lynn Shook's dance group coming out for a performance. On the 18th, we have Holiday Song Fest hosted by Marilyn and her family. And then on the 31st, New Year's Eve, we have Matt and Cynthia performing while we have a big New Year's Eve party in here. A couple other things I'll hit on really quick. We are missing about now 18 dumbbells. So we have our weight rack over there. Most of the ones we are missing are those 2-pound green weights, each which costs about almost $10 to replace one weight. If we replace them, you know, it's something we have to do. I would want to get those exact same ones so we have everything uniform. But if you have weights up in your room, maybe used them for PT or just borrowed them and forgot them in a closet, please bring them back down. They are expensive and we don't want to have to be purchasing more. Put that money into other good things. We have the DMV, or the Department of Motor Vehicles, and the Secretary of State. The next time they will be in our community will be April 15th. So mark your calendar if you are a newer resident and you need to change your ID. The great thing is they will now be doing real IDs in our community. So again, that was April 15th. The Secretary of State will be here to do those real IDs. In the new year, some new programs that are coming. We are going to try our hand at standing dance classes. We have a waltz instructor coming out if you want to learn to waltz. We have a new jazz appreciation class that's going to take place. So we already have a classical music appreciation, now doing a little jazz appreciation. We started last month with new art classes, which were very well received. We actually have that taking place again this Friday. So we have painting classes the first Friday of the month with a woman named Molly. Different Molly, but she's wonderful and will be here this Friday. And then also something new, we had 2 very generous residents that built and helped set up a whole new sound system. So we have cordless microphones now and a beautiful bingo setup. So thank you to those 2 individuals for contributing and making our community a better place. My last reminder that I'll say, computers. We now have that computer outside the library set up. That is the printing computer outside the library. In the game room are 2 computers that don't have a printer. If you're using the printing computer, try to keep it to those printing needs instead of gaming. And then if you go on your Amazon, email, anything, please sign out, because I go and check every now and again. We've had somebody order groceries on an Instacart that was not their Instacart, and they didn't realize till after the credit card had been charged. Sign out of all your things on there, please, because it just creates quite a mess. Okay, any questions about programming or transportation for me? Nothing. Okay, well, you all have a good rest of your day. Happy